Welcome and good afternoon. This is Kamish Orr, and we have a special game for you today as I am working my way through the Best of the Decades tournament, the 1990s. And here in the preliminary round, the play-in round, if you will, we have a Game 5 between the 1990 New York Mets and the 1999 Arizona Diamondbacks. Series is tied at 2 games apiece. This will be the decisive Game 5. The loser will go home. The winner will advance to play the 1998 Atlanta Braves in the actual first round of the tournament. So, a little bit of context. This is a double elimination series tournament, other than the play-in round, which is a best of 5 to get into the tournament. Teams have been seeded by ELO ratings. I've done another video on that. If you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. But the ELO ratings basically have evaluated every team in Major League Baseball history to see which team was the best based on strength of schedule, wins, etc. So, how did we get here? Well, interestingly enough, the New York Mets had a 2-0 series lead on Arizona, winning the first 2 games at Shea Stadium before we headed to Arizona. And they had held the Diamondbacks to 2 runs on each of those first 2 games, I believe. But then in Game 3, David Cone facing off against Andy Benes, Arizona showed some life. After Benes allowed a couple of runs in the first inning to put New York up 2-0. Arizona came right back in the bottom of the first. Matt Williams hit a 2-run homer to give Arizona a 3-2 lead. New York, not to be outdone or put away easy, tied things in the second. That's when Arizona scored 2 more runs off of David Cone in the fourth to give them another lead, 5-3 that time. But then New York came back in the 6th and scored 3 runs of their own to put them up 6-5. And in the bottom of the 6th, a couple more home runs for Arizona, one by Travis Lee and another by Luis Gonzalez, to give them the lead at that point, 8-6. And New York would get one back in the 7th. Home run of their own. Tim Teufel had a solo shot there. But then Arizona would get that run right back with a Bernard Gilkey solo shot. And Matt Manti came in and struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. A perfect 1-2-3, 9th inning to collect the save, and as Arizona won this one 9-7. So they stayed alive for one more game. And that one more game happened 2 days ago, September 5th, 2024, in game time. And that was Sid Fernandez facing off against Armando Reynoso. And Armando Reynoso had an amazing game. He was in some trouble here or there throughout the game. In some trouble. Allowed 10 hits, actually, in 7 innings, but took a shutout into the 8th. Meanwhile, Arizona scored 3 runs in the 6th inning off Sid Fernandez, thanks to a double by Jay Bell and a 2-run shot by Luis Gonzalez. Again, another home run by Gonzalez. So they had a 3-0 lead heading into the 8th. Kevin McReynolds led off the double, and Greg Swindell came in and allowed a 2-run homer to Mackie Sasser that cut the lead to 3-2. But that is the last run that they would get, as Swindell retired the next 3 batters he faced. Turned things over to Matt Manti again in the 9th. And Manti made things a little bit interesting when Darryl Boston singled to lead off the 9th. He struck out Dave Magadan, but then he walked Greg Jeffries to put the tying run in scoring position for the heart of the New York Mets order, but Manti struck out Darryl Strawberry and Kevin McReynolds to end the game, give them the 3-2 win. That sent us to Game 5, back in New York, Shea Stadium. By the way, you can head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. I have 2 projects going on right now, this one and a payoff pitch project. This, of course, is the 1990s tourney. And I do a little write-up on each game. You can see the box scores and score sheets. You can see the tournament bracket and all of that fun stuff. So head over there if you want to check that out. But we have a special one tonight, as we're back to the Game 1 starters. Randy Johnson, the big unit, facing off against Frank Viola, who was that year 20-12, a 20-game winner with a 2.67 ERA. And he won Game 1. Randy Johnson had a rough Game 1. He'll look to get some revenge in this one. Arizona visiting today. The 99 Diamondbacks are putting out this lineup. Tony Womack in right field leading off. Jay Bell at second base, batting second. Luis Gonzalez batting third in left field. Matt Williams cleaning up and playing third base. Bernard Gilkey DHing today. By the way, I'm using the DH even in the National League in the tournament. Steve Finley will be playing center field, batting sixth. Hanley Frias will be batting seventh, playing shortstop. Damian Miller catching, batting eighth. And Travis Lee batting ninth, playing first base. These are fairly historical lineups, by the way. Fairly historical. And as I said, Randy Johnson will be pitching today for Arizona. New York Mets have this lineup today's game. 2 lefties on the mound, by the way. Keith Miller will be DHing today and batting first. Dave Magadan batting second, first base. Greg Jeffries at third base, batting third. Darryl Strawberry in right field, cleaning things up. Kevin McReynolds in left field, batting fifth. Howard Johnson at short, batting sixth. Tim Teufel will be batting seventh and playing second base. Darryl Boston at batting eighth in center field. And Orlando Mercado catching and batting ninth. So that's the lineup we have for the New York Mets today. And with that said, we are ready to get things started here. Maybe. We are ready to get things started here in New York. By the way, it's 69 degrees, overcast, but no noticeable wind today. So, we are ready to rock and roll here with Tony Womack facing off against Frank Viola here in the top of the first. Winner advancing, loser goes home. And right away, first play of the game is going to be a rare play. 585 will be the rare play. 585 will be the rare play. Let's see what rareness we have going on here. 585. First play of the game. No play, foul pop fly. Catcher drops the ball and is injured in a collision with the stands. Wow. So, not only does the catcher drop the ball, not make the play, but he collides with the stands, and that catcher in question is Mercado. So, let's take a look at Mercado here. Right away, we're going to have some fun. Right away, we are going to have some fun. Mercado at 1990 is going to miss. He's probably going to miss significant time here. He only played 42 games that year, which isn't going to bode well for his injury here. Injuries, 42 games. He's going to have a plus 30. A plus 30 modifier. And we're going to roll 3 dice. 2, 4, 8. So 14 plus 30 is 44. 44. This is going to be a long, he's going to miss some time here. And it's collision. Collision, 44, which is way down here. He is going to break a collarbone here. And he's going to be out for 50 days. That, my friends, is going to put him out for the entire tournament. So, very interesting as Mercado breaks a collarbone here. Let's make a little note of that. Mercado, broken collarbone, colliding with the stands on a foul ball. All right, so right away, the Mets, Mackey Sasser is their backup catcher here, and he's going to come in to the game. So fortunately, I have a decent backup catcher here. He did homer in yesterday's game, so he will come in here for defensive purposes. And of course, he's also going to be the sub here in the lineup. Mercado barely got anything done today. In fact, he did nothing. So there we have it. All right. Well, all of that said, and Tony Womack is still up because that foul ball was dropped. 189, and he's going to bloop a single here. He is going to bloop a single. He's going to reach first base, and we're going to add the drop foul ball as an error because there was an error there. All of that said, let's see if he gets a lead here. 8 plus is steal because the arm rating. Yeah, I got to pull that up a little bit. You're seeing how the sausage is made here, folks. Okay. Because the arm rating on Sasser is only a 4. Womack's speed is a 9. So he's going to be trying to steal at will. 8 plus his speed is 12. 10 plus the hole is 16. He's not going to get a lead, so he stays put. And all that to say Jay Bell is now up. Swinging away, 145. And Bell is going to fly out to right field. Strawberry under this one for out number 1. An interesting game so far here. There's 1 out. And up steps Gonzalez, who has homered in the last 2 games. 551, not in this one though. Jeffries fields that one cleanly. And he will double up Womack around the horn, 5-4 to 3. And just like that, the Mets have gotten out of that inning. So, we head to the bottom of the first. Randy Johnson facing off against the top of the New York Mets lineup in Keith Miller. 228. And he struck him out. Strikeout to lead off the game here. 1 away. And Dave Magadan steps in. Let's see if the Mets can get to Johnson like they did in Game 1. 122. And that's strikeout number 2 for Johnson. Johnson showing some great stuff here in the early going of this one. Greg Jeffries. 659. That's going to be a 669 in the home ballpark here for New York. 669. And that's a dribbler back to Johnson. He'll throw over to Lee for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning here for Johnson in the first. Just what Arizona needed. And we head to the second. Matt Williams facing off against Viola. 3-18. And that's a first strikeout for Viola as Williams goes down swinging for out number 1. Bernard Gilkey. He's only hitting 133 so far in this tournament. 390, but that's going to be a base hit. Nice clean single for Gilkey here. And Arizona has a base runner on here in the second inning. He is not going anywhere. And that brings up Steve Finley. Finley hitting .062. Arizona has struggled at the plate so far in the tournament other than Game 3. 139. And that's a fly out to center. Boston under this one. And there are 2 outs. Hanley Frias steps in. 237. 237, and he strikes out Frias for out number 3. 2 strikeouts now for Viola. Looks to be, it's still early, looks to be a pitcher's duel so far, though Arizona has gotten some runners on base. Johnson facing the heart of the New York Mets batting order here, starting with Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry's only hitting .222 in the tournament. 698 becomes a 708, and that's going to be a deep center field, I believe. It's deep center field. 19. Deep center field 19. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is at the wall. Finley able to haul that one in with a leaping grab here for the first out of the inning. Strawberry just shaking his head at that one. Should have been a home run. And that brings up McReynolds. 452. And the Johnson's the lefty, of course, and strikes him out. Third strikeout for Johnson for out number 2. Howard Johnson. Johnson hit .267 in the tourney. 548. It's a sharp grounder to Bell, and he can't come up with it. Not able to field that one cleanly, and Johnson gets to first before there can be a play there. There's going to be an error there on Bell. So still 2 outs. Johnson deals. 238. And that's another strikeout. 4th strikeout for Johnson today. 2 in each inning. And the Mets are retired. We head to the top of the 3rd here. Bottom of the Diamondbacks order. Starting with Damian Miller. 657. And 657 is going to be a grounder to short. Johnson over to Magadan for out number 1. Travis Lee steps in. 637. And this time it's a fly out to center. Boston under this one for out number 2. Back to the top, Tony Womack, who had all of that drama in the first at-bat of the game. 658. 3 straight stadium calls here, and that's going to be another ground out to short. 3 up, 3 down here in the 3rd of what is shaping up to be a pretty quiet game offensively. Johnson facing the bottom of the New York Mets order, starting with Darryl Boston. 343. And that's a base hit. It's a little dribbler, and Boston beats this one out. And that's the first hit for New York. Now, Johnson is not great at holding base runners. So Boston is going to attempt to get a lead, and he will. 17 plus his steal is a 19. So he is going to attempt it. 11 plus his speed is 17, and 10 plus the arm of Miller is only a 15. And he's going to be in to second with a stolen base. Now, I didn't have Sasser pulled up here. So let me go grab Sasser's card because I wasn't expecting to use him today. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and put him in the lineup here because Mercado is not going to see any playing time here. So, Sasser. Let's put him into the lineup. All right. And let's get back to the action here. All right. Sasser is going to be swinging away here against Randy Johnson with a runner in scoring position. 159, and that's another strikeout for Johnson. One out here in the third inning, and we're back to the top of the order for New York. Keith Miller struck out in his first at-bat. This time, and it's another infield single as he fights that one off. That's going to put runners on the corners here. And once again, Miller trying to check to see if he steals here, but he's not going to get a lead this time. In fact, Johnson catches Miller leaning here and picks him off first. So Miller, with the temporary mistake here, just a mental lapse, and Johnson catches him leaning here and picks him off for out number 2. Pickoff rating is, Johnson's pickoff is 3. And the number here was a 2. So, all right, Dave Magadan here. Still a runner on third. That may very well score. No, 699. Maybe a walk. 699, and it is. Dave Magadan draws the walk here, and we have runners on the corners again. This time for Greg Jeffries. Johnson trying to get out of the inning. 427. And he will. That's a grounder to short, or excuse me, to second. Bell will flip to free us there at second base for out number 3. So the Mets threaten a little bit, but not able to get anything done there as we head to the 4th inning. Still no score. Jay Bell facing off against Viola here in the 4th. 144, and that's going to be a fly out to right. Strawberry under this one for out number 1. Both teams with 2 hits and an error. Gonzalez steps in. He grounded into a double play in the first inning. 642. And this time he grounds one to first. Magadan will take this one himself. And 2 down here. A quick 2 down here in the 4th. Matt Williams. Williams is hitting 412 in the tournament, but struck out in his first at bat. This time he bloops one over the infield. And he has a 2-out base hit here in the 4th. That will bring up Bernard Gilkey. He singled in the second. 339, but he strikes out this time as Viola gets one by him on the outside part of the plate. Viola gets one by him there and ends the inning. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Johnson again facing the heart of the New York Mets order here, starting with Darryl Strawberry. 690 becomes a 700. It's going to be another walk. It is a leadoff walk here for Strawberry here in the fourth. Normally, he wouldn't be attempting to get a lead here because his speed is below Miller's arm. However, the decider die here says otherwise. 5 plus his steal. No, he is not going to go anywhere. No pickoff or anything else going on here. And McReynolds steps in here trying to get something going for New York. 533. That's a sharp grounder to Lee. His only play will be to first, and he'll take it himself for the first out. But Strawberry will move into scoring position here on the play. Or, excuse me, Magadan. Oh, no, that's Lee. We have the Mets up. All right. So Howard Johnson steps in. Strawberry on second here. One down. 205. Johnson's batting righty here, and he strikes him out. Strikeout number 6 for Johnson here. Just when the Mets try to get something going, Johnson gets a key strikeout here. 2 down now, runner in scoring position. Teufel, 481. And that's another grounder to Johnson, who will throw to Lee. And Johnson gets out of the fourth here. Still scoreless here as we head to the fifth. Viola will face Finley, Frias, and Miller. 260. 260. Finley's a lefty. That's going to be a grounder to first. Magadan flips to flips to Viola for out number 1. Frias steps up. 462. It's a deep fly ball to center field. Not too deep, though, and Boston's under this one for out number 2. Miller grounded to short in his last at bat. 289. This is going to be a deep one. This may be trouble. Deep to left field. 22. That is way back. McReynolds can just watch it go. And that one's out of here as Damian Miller hits a home run here to take a 1-0 lead for Arizona. It's Miller's first home run of the tournament. And it's a key one here as it puts Arizona up 1-0 here in what has been a pitcher's duel to this point. Viola composes himself, trying to get out of this inning. He'll face Travis Lee with 2 down. 355, and Lee grounds this one to second. And that will be an easy play for out number 3, but not before Arizona takes a 1-0 lead here in the 5th inning. Johnson facing the bottom of New York's lineup here, starting with Boston. 646. And that's a grounder to second. Bell has this one easily for out number 1. Sasser steps in, struck out in his first at bat. And he flies this one deep to right. Womack at the track. But he has room for this one, and that's out number 2. Back to the top of the order here. Keith Miller. 694. And 694 is going to be a double. That one's in the gap. Miller slides into second. And the Mets have another runner in scoring position here with 2 outs. Magadan walked in his last at bat, struck out in the first. And 108, he strikes out here again. 7th strikeout for Johnson. And once again, any momentum that the Mets had is stopped. Viola facing off against the top of the Arizona lineup here, starting with Womack. 327, and it's a grounder in the infield, and Womack beats this one out. A leadoff base hit here. And as I said before, Womack's going to try to get a lead. He will not, though, I don't believe. 9 plus steal is 13. The hold will be higher than that. So Womack does not attempt here. And it brings up Jay Bell. 140. Bell flies this one to center. Boston, plenty of room. There's 1 out. Gonzalez, 0 for 2 today. Grounded into that double play in the first inning. 337. This time he grounds to second. The only play this time is to first, as Womack advances on the play. But now there are 2 down here, and Matt Williams steps in. .264. Williams is a righty, and Williams grounds this one to short. Easy play for Johnson, and that will end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th, and Arizona is still clinging to that 1-0 lead here, as Johnson faces the the heart of the order for New York, starting with Jeffries. 461. And that's hard hit into the gap in center. And Jeffries will have a stand-up double here to lead off the 6th. Mets once again with a runner in scoring position. Let's see if they can do anything with it. First, it'll be up to Strawberry. 134, and he strikes him out. It's the 8th strikeout here for Johnson. And a key one here. 1 down. Jeffries still at second. Kevin McReynolds. 395, and that's going to tie this ball game, as that's a liner into left center. Oops. No chance to get Jeffries at home. And that ties this ball game up 1-1. Great job by McReynolds there. Both teams 1 run on 5 hits and 1 error so far in this game. Howard Johnson trying to continue the momentum here. But he strikes out. It's another strikeout for Johnson. Teufel steps in. 266. And that's a grounder to third. Easy play for Williams to end the inning, but not before New York ties this one up. The key hit there, key base hit. We head to the 7th. Brand new ball game here. Viola and Johnson both have a stamina of 6, so they will be subject to fatigue starting in this inning. Viola facing off against Gilkey. 250, and he strikes him out. 4th strikeout for Viola here. Brings up Steve Finley. 289. That's going to be a deep one. That's going to be a deep one. Deep to right field. 18. Deep right field 18. That's going to be a homer probably. It is. Back, 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 and out of here. And another solo shot for Arizona here gives them a 2-1 lead here in the 7th. Viola will have 1 level of fatigue. 160. And now he'll have 2, as that's a clean base hit for Frias here. Brings up Miller. He had that solo shot in the 5th inning. Viola trying to get out of this one. 642, and we have 2 levels of fatigue. So it's going to be a 662. This is where fatigue can come back and bite you. Not in this case, though. 6-4. They do get the lead runner here. And that gives them 2 outs. And Miller is now on first for Travis Lee, who is 0 for 2. But he is hitting 286 in the tournament. 586. And that is not good, as that is a double in the gap. It's going to get all the way to the wall here. Let's see. Batter has the chance, and I believe they try to go. Let me just cancel that out for a second. So the double is going to score Miller. And with 2 out, the auto manager says, if the next base is third, no attempt at third. So Lee will hold up. Wait a second. No, he doesn't even attempt it. So Lee, with the double in the gap, gives another run to Arizona here in the 7th, giving them a little breathing room. And Viola will have 3 levels of fatigue here, which 1 more batter and he'll be done. He's going to try to get Womack out here. 299, and that is not, well, it might do it. Womack not with much power. Deep right field, 14. That should do it, actually. Deep right field, 14. It's a deep fly ball, but Strawberry has room, and that will end the inning, but not before Arizona gets 2 more runs here to take a 3-1 lead. Viola will be done for the day, and we're at the 7th inning stretch. Johnson gets a little bit of cushion here. He's been spectacular today with 9 strikeouts. He'll face Boston, Sasser, and then the top of the Mets order here in the bottom of the 7th. Johnson also subject to fatigue this inning. 634. It's going to be a 644. It's a grounder to first. And Lee will take it himself for out number 1. Sasser 0 for 2 today. 470. He will not be 0 for 3, as that's a double in the gap. Sasser into second easy, standing up. And we are to the top of the order for New York. Runner in scoring position. Johnson has 1 level of fatigue now. He will deal to Miller, who is 2 for 3 today. 580. And that is a fly out to Finley. And Sasser will stay put on second base here. Magadan steps in. 262. Thought it was going to be a strikeout here, but it is not. Magadan grounds this one to Lee, who flips to Johnson. And Johnson gets out of the 7th. We head to the top of the 8th. Arizona still with a 3-1 lead. Viola comes out of this one. Pitched pretty well. 7 innings pitched. And next up we have righty, lefty, righty. Oh, Mets have a pretty decent bullpen here. Let's see who they want to go with. Probably Jeff Innes to pitch the 8th. He appeared in 18 games that year, had a 2.39 ERA, which is pretty good. And so they need an inning out of him in this do-or-die game. Facing the heart of the order here. Starting with Jay Bell. Ooh, 693 is going to be something. 693 is going to be something. And what is it? It is just a single. Leadoff single here for Bell. Yeah, he's going to try to get a lead maybe. 13 plus his steal is only a 14, but that's good enough because Innes has no hold whatsoever. 15 plus his speed, that's a 19, is going to be better there too. And Bell is going to steal second here to lead off the 8th. Putting pressure on New York. And Luis Gonzalez comes up. 322. And that's going to be a sharp hit ball on the infield. It's going to be safe all the way around. And just like that, Arizona has runners on the corners with no outs. Corners would be playing in here against Matt Williams. 267. That's a fly out to right. Not deep enough, though. Strawberry hauls this one in, and Arizona does not risk it, as that's just the first out. Gilkey. 695. That's going to be something. Maybe a walk? No, it is not. It's a double. Drills that one in the gap. Another run for Arizona here. Gonzalez holds at third. And Steve Finley steps in. They're going to give him maybe one more batter here. 196. Finley pops this one up on the infield. And Jeffries will haul it in for out number 2. Frias steps in. Let's see if Innes can get out of this one. 505 is a rare play. So we have second and third. Rare play. This should be interesting. Second and third. 2 out, rare play. Okay, just going to be a regular rare play here. 332. 332. Batter strikes out looking and is ejected from the game for arguing with the umpire. Who is that? That is Frias. So Frias watches what he thought was ball 4, but it is called strike 3, and he exchanges some words with the ump, and he'll be out of this game. So Arizona, looks like Andy Fox is going to come in. Yeah, Andy Fox will come in for defense. Oops. Let me go back up here. So Frias comes out. Andy Fox takes his place at short. And will also come into his spot in the lineup, though he probably won't bat unless something weird happens, which is possible. All right. So we head to the bottom of the 8th. Arizona now with a 4-1 lead. Johnson does have 1 level of fatigue, but they're going to keep him out there at least until he runs into any trouble here, now that he has a little bit bigger cushion. So he'll face the heart of the lineup here. Jeffries is 1 for 3, one of the few players that has not struck out today. 201, 401, and he draws a leadoff walk here in the 8th. 2nd level of fatigue for Johnson. He's not going to go anywhere. And Johnson faces Strawberry. 433. That is a deep fly ball to right. Womack on the track. Just enough room to haul this one in. Mets fans thought that the game was going to be much closer after that one, but not quite, as it dies there on the warning track. So that brings up McReynolds. 193. Okay. Oh, this is going to be bad for the Mets, as that is a line out to second and doubles him off of first. Let me just double check that. Pretty sure what that is. Yeah. Line out. Runner is doubled out. There is a runner on first. Wow. Line shot to Bell. And Jeffries is caught off of first base. Line drive double play. 4 to 4 to 3. What a way to end the inning for the Mets. Johnson now has 2 levels of fatigue, but he's pitched an amazing game. Now, Innes. Is it Innes? He's going to come out of this one. He is going to come out of this one. And who do they have coming up? Righty, lefty, lefty? Is Womack a switch? No, he's a lefty. So actually, he'll face Miller first. He'll face Miller first. 5-13, and that's a grounder to back to the pitcher. Throws over to first for out number 1. Now they're bringing in, it's 1 1/3. And they're going to bring in Ojeda. Ojeda comes in to face the lefties here. Trying to make sure this game doesn't further get out of hand. He'll face Travis Lee first here in the ninth. 4:05, and Lee draws a walk here. Yeah, he's going to try to get a lead. Taking advantage of Sasser's arm. 13 plus his steal is 16. It's just enough. Okay, 11 plus his speed is 16, and he's going to steal second here. Because I believe, let's see, steal attempts. There's no outs. Only steal after, never steal if the batting team trails. They don't trail. Yeah. Yep. So he steals second. Not what you wanted to have happen here in the ninth. Ojeda will face off against Womack. 290. That's going to be a deep right field. 9. Deep right field. 9. That's a single that's going to score him. So the problems continue for the Mets. That's a base hit for Womack. Lee rounds third, scores easily. And just like that, the game is 5-1. Womack's definitely going to try to take a lead if he can, which he doesn't. Jay Bell. 269. Deep center field, 16. That could be trouble. Deep center field 16, and that is just on the edge. Deep fly ball to center. Boston has a room, though. Off the bat, it looked like it might be gone. But Mets fans breathe a sigh of relief there. And now Ojeda faces off against Gonzalez here in the ninth with 2 outs. 3:33. Another infield single here for Gonzalez. That's he's 2 for 5 today. And Ojeda having trouble getting out of this inning. Matt Williams. 452. And that one is in the gap and is going to clear the bases. As Arizona putting an exclamation mark on this game with 3 runs here in the ninth. Ojeda just shaking his head. Would be subject to fatigue. At this point, they're going to have him face Gilkey just to get out of this, hopefully. 471, and he is not going to get out of this, as that's another double. This game is getting out of hand for New York. Mets fans are booing. As this one's falling apart. 343 is going to be another infield single. And that will be it, as Ojeda just gets a third of an inning here. Wow. What was a close game has now gotten out of hand. And at this point, who is next? Andy Fox. He's a lefty. Normally Ojeda would stay in and face him, but there's no sense in that. Alejandro Pena. Julio Machado. Probably Machado. He's probably the, even though he's a righty. I think they're going to bring him in just to try to get one out to get out of this inning. But at this point, it's going to take a miracle for them to get back in it. So Machado will face off against Andy Fox here as Arizona bats around. Their ninth batter this inning, 459. And they do get out of the inning with a deep fly ball to the warning track. New York fans, with that bat or that ball coming off the bat, were already booing. But Boston catches this one at the warning track, or this would have been an 11-1 game. Arizona with 4 runs here in the ninth. Game that was already kind of out of hand. Well, not too much out of hand. Still save territory. And Johnson's going to try to finish this one out. Definitely made up for game 1 of this series. He will have 2 levels of fatigue. But Arizona is going to be needing to save those relief arms because they're going to play tomorrow for the first game of the Atlanta series. So they want to save these arms as much as they can. Johnson's pitched an amazing game here, and they'll at least leave him out here to start. He'll face Howard Johnson here first up. 187. And Johnson lines a hard rocket, but it's right at Fox for out number 1. Teufel, 543, and that's a grounder to Bell. New York Mets are not even putting up a fight here in the ninth. Boston, he's 1 for 3 today. This could be it. 640, and it will be it. 640, well, maybe. Because it's going to be a 670, actually, because he has 2 levels of fatigue, and it's the home team. 670. No, not high enough. Not high enough, as it's a grounder right back to Johnson, who throws over to first. And Arizona mobbing the mound right now as Johnson gets some redemption here in Game 5. The New York Mets are eliminated from the series after being up 2-0. They drop the next 3, capped by this amazing batting performance. Really is a very close game while Viola was in there. And then the Mets relief just did not do well at all. Gilkey, 3 for 5 with a couple RBI in there. Williams, 2 for 5 with a couple RBI. I mean, hits up and down the order. Hits up and down the order. But I have to give this one player of the game honors to Randy Johnson, who struck out 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He had no strikeouts in the final 3 innings, but didn't really run into too much trouble. He gets the complete game, allowed just 1 run, 6 hits, and pitches them into the tourney now, where they'll face the Atlanta Braves. Spectacular game here as Arizona takes this one 8-1 at Shea Stadium. Arizona 8 runs on 16 hits and 1 error. The New York Mets, 1990 New York Mets, 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error for the Mets. Who will wonder what went wrong in this one. Definitely relief pitching. Though, again, I mean, they'd only scored 1 run here in this game. So you could say it was on the offense, too, who just couldn't figure Johnson out in this one after getting to Johnson early on in game 1. So we are ready to say goodbye in this one. As I mentioned before, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com to follow the action. I'll have this game posted here shortly in the next day or so. And if we take a look at the bracket, we can see that for the first round, the first real round, we have the 1993 Toronto Blue Jays facing off against the 1998 New York Yankees. The 1990 Oakland Athletics facing off against the 1995 Cleveland Indians in the American League. And in the National League, we will have the 1999 Arizona Diamondbacks facing the 1998 Atlanta Braves, and the 1994 Montreal Expos facing the 1998 Houston Astros in the National League in the first round. All of that said, hopefully you enjoyed watching that one. Thank you so much for the support, and until next time, have a great evening.